Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Big shout out to all the iTrack fam for tapping in like you always do. I appreciate you guys. As usual, I got a handful of interesting and creepy TikToks for us to go ahead and check out and evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into it.
This is exactly why time has been going by so fast. A recent report just said that Earth has been going by faster than usual, to the point that they have to skip a second just to keep up.
You just add a second to one day to keep everything aligned.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Government is frequently grappling with time. It was the government that created the time zone.
Now, multiple people have reported on how fast the clouds have been going by, but also pointed out on how this may actually have something to do with CERN, because every single time they use their particle accelerator, people start having all these dreams.
During CERN's opening ceremony, you can see that they show a clock moving back and forth rapidly, which could be symbolic for whatever's making people feel strange about time currently.
Now, generally, the Earth's rotation is not perfect. It goes up or down by a fraction of a millisecond. But suddenly, it appears to be consistently faster and faster. And so why is this happening? Well, no one knows for sure. There are some ideas.
I definitely think time is speeding up to a degree, and it's happening right in front of our face to the point where we can't even put our finger on when it's happening. But definitely let me know what you think.
Scientists once taught monkeys the concept of money, and then disaster ensued. In 2005, a group of monkeys were given silver coins. It took months to teach the monkeys that these coins were a valuable means of exchange, but once they had that understanding is when the real fun began. They were given 12 coins and presented with jello cups and grapes, each costing a different price. Then scientists introduced price shocks, raising the price of one and dropping the price of the other, and the monkeys went for the better deal if they were low on cash, meaning they understood budgeting. Then gambling was introduced, and monkeys were doing that. Then they figured out stealing, then something really shocking began to happen. The monkeys truly had a grasp of money and learned it wasn't just good for buying food. The scientists noticed that some male monkeys were using the coins to pay females for lovemaking. Those females would then use that money they earned to go buy food for themselves. Once scientists noticed that was happening, they did have to put an end to it because they wanted to ensure any future monkey business occurred as nature intended. All in all, they found that when money was introduced, they just behaved a good bit like humans.
Moral of the story, money isn't everything when you don't have it. And when you do have a little bit, it seems to be the only thing.
A little bit about imprinted energy. How does this all work?
Well, basically what I've noticed through giving about 35,000 readings is you can point out when people's bad years are, when their good years are, based off the energy. If someone's in their enemy year, you know what it is. I mean, Donald Trump's saying what's like to be in his enemy year, 34 counts. If you know who Zerk and Heel Mike are, they have Dr. What's his name? What's that doctor's name who just got hit? He's another 82 dog. So this is their enemy year. They should have known to lay low. But you know what's the worst thing to do in your enemy year? To be around your same energy, because you get hit even harder. So say if you're a dog, California is probably not the place to go, which is 1850 the year of the dog. So again, if you're a dog around dog energy in a dragon year, you're gonna get hit.
95% of people have an operating system in their mind where they operate out of history and memory.
I like that.
And about 5% of humans operate out of vision and imagination.
Ever wonder why the powers that be always broadcast what they're gonna do before they do it? It's not to avoid karma. That's not how karma works. The reason is because the powers that be are archons. Archons were spoken about in the ancient Gnostic texts. Archons are thought forms that cannot manifest on their own because they have no love or connection to the cosmic womb, and therefore cannot utilize the law of attraction. So they use us humans to manifest by putting ideas in our faces. Once we see the idea and experience an emotion about the idea, we manifest it for them. So they don't tell us what they're gonna do before they do it. They tell us what they want to happen, and we make it happen by experiencing negative emotions about it happening.
Now that makes a lot of sense because that's actually playing out in your everyday life. If you walk around feeling successful and feeling like you have a lot going on, you're going to give off that energy and people are going to treat you like that. And if you walk around like the opposite, like, you're having a bad day, people are going to treat you like that as well. So I can definitely believe in projecting ideas onto people for sure.
A few people have brought this to my attention, and the more that I looked into it, the more that it actually makes sense that the moon is literally Earth's reflection. And in the reflection, there are also other land masses that show up on the moon. What am I talking about? Let's get right into it. Now, in the first clip that I showed you, it's all of the land masses that we pretty much know about. But what about these right here? This is a perfect example of what I believe, that the Earth is actually bigger than what they tell us, and that there is more landmass for educational and entertainment purposes only. These are my opinions based on what I'm seeing. If indeed the moon is a reflection and a satellite, which I think it can be both. Now here's another example of identical reflection. The dark spots on the moon are reflecting the land masses that you see on the globe, or Earth, if you don't think it's a globe, to the right. Identical. 100%, just on a smaller scale, because allegedly the moon is smaller than the Earth. That's what we're told, right? Next clip. Now, as I expected, this is allegedly Antarctica's wall of ice. And outside of that wall of ice are allegedly other land masses, which I tend to believe, based on a lot of species that they say were extinct are actually back out of nowhere? No, not out of nowhere, out of the outside where. So these are just my observations. I'm not saying they're factual. It's what I see with my own eyes and the research that I've done. I come up with my own conclusions, as does any other scientist. However, I'm not a scientist. I'm a content creator, bringing you information for you to question yourself and to make up your own mind. What do y'all think about the moon and it showing a exact mirror reflection of the Earth and its land masses? Leave in the comments below. Peace and one.
I mean, I've heard just about everything at this point, and that makes a little bit of sense, but not enough, not enough for it not to be capped. But let me know what you think. I'm not sure if those were piranhas or what, but you could tell they had 20/20 vision.
The fact that so many billionaires use it and it's been used for centuries and millennia, there must be something to it. But I don't think that it's worth exploring, even if it is real, because it's like almost trying to bend God's will. Everything is predetermined and everything happens for a reason, and we're supposed to exist to serve God.
He gave you the numbers, bro. He gave you a brain so you can make tools and you can hunt the animal. He gave you a brain so you can invent things, and he gave you those numbers. If you believe God is almighty, then you must understand that he's the one who gave you these numbers. He's the one who gave you this information. Information can can never be evil, Sneeko. That's like saying cars are evil because someone took a car and ran over somebody. It's the person who uses the knowledge. Yes, there's 100% that people who are in positions of power use this for evil. When you look at World War I, it ended on 11/11 at exactly 11 o'clock. They're still firing bullets at each other at 10:55, but 11 they all stopped. Obviously, that's based off numerology, and the reason they did that is because if they knew they ended the war on 11/11, they would start a new war because you can't have peace on an 11 day.
Analyze Kobe's involvement with the world of the dark occult. Bryant starred in a weird video produced by ESPN that one article aptly described as an evil Sesame Street. The skit featured a puppet called Little Mamba, a play on Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba alias. In one of the strangest videos you'll come across, NBA superstar Kobe Bryant introduces kids to the idea of a muse cage.
Muse cage!
Which he defines as an environment filled with objects and symbols that keep you inspired and motivated. But wait, it gets weirder. There are light musings and dark musings.
Light musings and dark musings.
Representing dark and light.
Can I also have barbecue sauce, or do you have like a buffalo sauce?
I felt like they were reaching a little bit with Kobe, and then in that next clip, AI completely went awry.
So my son and I are driving, and this is what we see in the sky. Like, look at those colors. That is so bright. Like, there's nothing else around. I don't know where it came from, but it's so bright in colors. So cool.
Here it comes. Here it comes, here it comes. There it is. Look. I'm gonna chase this joker all over town tonight. I'm gonna chase this joker all over town. Look. A giant UFO. I'm chasing this baby all over town. Let me get into my another one, look. It's going above the building. Wow. Ain't no way. Look at that. Out of my car, not doing anything dangerous.
That's crazy that the first time I'm seeing something like this is on the TikTok video. I know somebody in Kentucky can confirm that for me.
An octopus loses some of its limbs and then somehow makes it back into the ocean. You might think it would die from the open wounds, but they have an ability that allows them to quickly seal the cut before it becomes infected. Once the wounds begin to heal, new cells can start to reconstruct the missing limbs, and after several weeks, new fully functional tentacles regrow. If a mouse eats food that's contaminated with toxoplasma, it loses its instinctive fear of cats. This dangerous shift in behavior is not an accident, but a manipulation by this parasite. You see, toxoplasma needs to get into a cat in order to reproduce, so it causes the infected mouse to become unusually attracted to the scent of cat urine, bringing it closer to cats and essentially causing it to sacrifice itself. This sinister survival strategy ensures that toxoplasma completes its life cycle in the cat.
You guys, somebody get the fucking mouse! He's literally not scared of any of you! Is this for real? Are you guys fucking for real? Oh my god, I could kill you.
Hey, so that mouse must have been infected because he sure wasn't scared of that cat or that dog. But the cat was smart enough to walk away. He said something's wrong. Something is severely wrong.
Hat that I need for the stream right here. This is my alter ego. Anita Max Win.
Katy Perry, who is a singer, and her husband, I believe his name is Orlando Bloom, bought the Bragg's apple cider vinegar company, and they have teamed up with Bill Gates and now are using his A-Pill apples. Now, let me sort of educate the audience a little bit about what A-Pill is. A-P-E-E-L. It uses monosaccharides and disaccharides, which are byproducts of all oil processing. Okay, so the byproducts of, things like soybean oil, canola oil, which are very harmful to the body. And these byproducts are trans fats. This is really important. They're trans fats. Trans fats in most countries, all of Europe, are banned. And the reason why they're banned is because they cause coronary heart disease. What's your position as somebody who understands the land, respects the land, who's growing, showing people how to grow? What's your position on watching somebody buy this amount of land with that type of intention behind it?
I think Cat Williams said it the best. Billionaires pretty much can do whatever they want, even if it means tainting food that was once so wholesome. I think the difference is they didn't use a fisheye lens and everything looked flat. I don't know, let me know what you noticed.
Oldest images of Jesus in the world that we have are not this old bearded guy. It's a shaven young guy holding a wand. Those are from catacombs from the 2nd and 3rd century. The whole catacombs is all scenes from the Bible. He's holding a wand out and he's raising Lazarus from the dead. Yeah, he's just a young guy with a magic wand in his hand. He holds a wand. He's a magician.
So the dude who got the Neuralink implant now has aim hacks in his brain.
I basically have an aimbot in my head.
That motherfucker's cheating! Earlier this year, Nolan Arbaugh, who is a quadriplegic due to a swimming accident, was revealed to be the first human to get the brain implant from Elon Musk's company Neuralink. And in a live stream, Nolan showed that his implant could control a cursor to use computers, and of course, play video games again. An advancement in accessibility to this scale is truly mind-blowing. But if you ask Nolan himself, it might have gone too far.
Sometimes it's so good that it's moving before I even, think it to move.
That's right. Nolan himself thinks that he has an unfair advantage in video games now that no physical inputs are required and it's all just through his noggin. In fact, he believes that one day this might actually become an issue.
Probably have different leagues for people like me because it's just not fair.
some people are saying that there's going to be like the one true big AI that can do everything. And I just don't think that that's the way that things tend to go. And I get why, if you're like in some AI lab and, you want to feel like what you're doing is super important, right? And then it's okay. Yeah, it's like we're building the one true thing for the future. But I just think like realistically, that's not how stuff works, right? It's not like there was one app on people's phones that people use. There's not kind of one creator that people want all their content from. There's not one app that people want all their content from. There's not one business that people want to buy everything from. People value diversity, and I think that that's a lot of what creates sort of richness, and the feeling that we're learning and progressing in life is getting to experience different kinds of things. So I just believe really deeply that the future is not going to be one AI. It's going to be a lot of AIs with a lot of different people being able to create different things.
This is the Ishima-Ohashi Bridge in Japan. It is located in West Japan over Lake Nakaomi and looks more like a roller coaster than a road. The bridge is 1.7 kilometers long and reaches a height of 44.7 meters. It is said to be the steepest bridge in the world and has been known to make people feel nauseous. Driving over this bridge certainly makes your journey a thrilling car ride.
I can imagine people only taking that bridge if they have to.
Toxicity study that was done by the United States government. It was released on November 1st, 2018. They did it on nocturnal mammals. They used 1G, 2G, and 3G phones. Okay? This is way before 5G. In those animals, they found humongous problems. You can look this study up on the internet. Every G causes a different resonance problem. Like 1G isn't equivalent to 5. 4 isn't equivalent to 5.
And you mean like different tuning fork issue?
Correct. Certain people have different mitochondrial haplotypes. We also have different skin types. Every single screen. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself why we need Dan Huber's glasses? Because they have found through the programs that the government sponsored, at Tulane Neurosurgery and Neurology, it's called MK Ultra, that they were able to control people through light waves, wires in their head to figure out how they can control the behavior of monkeys. That's actually was done in a place close to where I went to medical school. I knew about all of these studies.
So we can be controlled by light waves?
No, not we can. We are.
We are.
Okay? Update your knowledge base. Why does every computer have a blue light screen? Why doesn't it come pre-loaded with Flux or Iris? Well, there's a reason for that. Do you know what the reason is? Because the blue light lowers your dopamine and melatonin level so that you become addicted. Who got that information first? Was it the CIA through the MK Ultra program? No, it wasn't. It was the mafia. You know how they got it? It's how they build Las Vegas. They put a city in a desert, in a geopathic stress zone, has shitty water, shitty magnetism, but great light. And then what they do, they put casinos out there, blocked all the light, and put one-armed bandits in there that made nothing but blue light. You know what the mafia found out by doing that? They didn't have to use a gun to stick you up to steal your money. Then they got even smarter. Then they started getting really pretty girls deliver you alcohol drinks for free. So dopamine levels fell sooner. You gave them your money faster. But hey, can we somehow stop putting the wires in the monkey's head and maybe think about how to do this differently? Because you know that wires in the head deliver electricity, brain works on a DC electric current. That should mean that it must work on light at some level. Well, along comes the people in Silicon Valley in the 50s and 60s, and we get semiconductors. What do we know about semiconductors? When you put electric into it, it makes what? LED. What does LED stand for? A light emitting diode. That's kind of interesting. So when you see the science developing all at the same time, and you realize the criminals were smarter than the centralized doctors. Didn't I tell you that story about the Colombian drug cartel? Isn't this funny how the same thing is happening again? So a guy named Delgado, who's a PhD researcher, he went down to Mexico, where you took your mom, and he put the wires directly into the bull's head and put the guy in there, and they had a remote controller, and they stopped the bull right away from running in to the guy, electrically. So then the next part of the experiment was
without electrocution, just electric.
Oh no, you're not going to get
waves.
electrocuted. It's just electricity.
Yeah.
You modulate the frequency. Look, it's just like Lutron shades you have in your house. You turn it up and down, the light goes up and down. Same thing with these controllers. So the next step in their program was, let's get rid of the wires. Let's just put a microchip that's a semiconductor in the brain, kind of like Elon Musk is doing right now with Neuralink, right? Scary, huh? And what do? They were able to control electrically, photoelectrically, wirelessly. So then what did they next do? They said, could we use light to do the same thing? And guess what they magically found? That when you use light, you can control mammals. Their patent attorneys, they own all the patents for blue light technology through screens. Do you think that potentially that all of these things have been used to control different things around you and doing different things? The answer is yes. Why is digital babysitting so successful for parents? Because the baby becomes much easier to control. Have you ever tried to take an iPad away from a 2-year-old that's already addicted to it? One of the things it cleaves to beta endorphin. What is beta endorphin? The natural opiate that your brain makes. So guess what? When you're around this electromagnetic pollution, you lose that beta endorphin, so you need an exogenous hit from dopamine or from... That's how this works. This all came from this study. But I want you to know it graduated from covert work done at institutions like Tulane, at Johns Hopkins, at the Mayo Clinic, at Harvard University. Then it jumped into big tech. Remember the old screens? We didn't use those screens that used to play those stupid video games. Now they became blue lit. And guess who owns all those patents? The guys that control the algorithms. Oh, didn't I mention algorithms to you about centralized medicine? So let me ask you a question. Do you make more or less money when you have obedient idiots as your target audience?
He was dropping gems left and right. The sad thing is, it seems like those blue lights are every single place that we are.
According to the theories of Carl Pribram, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm, a physicist at the University of London, the human mind is also a hologram which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state which we call consciousness. With the respect to states of expanded or altered consciousness, the process operates in the following way. As energy passes through various aspects of the universal hologram, it is perceived by the electrostatic fields which comprise the human mind. The holographic images being conveyed are projected upon those of the mind and are perceived or understood to the extent that the electrostatic field is operating at a frequency and amplitude that can, here's the key, can harmonize with and therefore read the energy carrier wave pattern passing through it. Changes in the frequency and amplitude of the electrostatic field which comprise the human mind determines the configuration and hence the character of the holographic energy matrix, which the mind projects it to intercept meaning directly from the holographic transmissions of the universe. Then, to make sense of what the holographic image is saying to it, the mind proceeds to compare the image just received with itself. Specifically, it does this by comparing the image received with that part of its own hologram which constitutes memory. By registering differences in geometric form and in energy frequency, the consciousness perceives, see Exhibit 2, as psychologist Keith Floyd puts it, is quote, contrary to what everyone knows is so, it may not be the brain that produces consciousness, but rather consciousness that creates the appearance of the brain.
I mean, he was breaking down key points of consciousness in the brain, but you can tell he got lost, I got lost, and you got lost about halfway through. So you might want to marinate on that and rewind that one back. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.